Curlin's quest for history. Trevor Denman with the call of the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Gates closed on Champs-Élysées now, all set for the $5 million Breeders' Cup Classic. Gates open, fields sent on their way to the roar of the Santa Anita crowd. Go Between broke beautifully on the inside, but Casino Drive now going up to lead them. Fairbanks and the red cappers in the center of the track showing speed, and Duke of Marmalade, dark colors right behind them. Then it's Smooth Air, Colonel John in the white cap forced to go a little wide. Henry the Navigator is racing back in 7th. He's 6 lengths off the leaders, and here's Curlin. Gold colors now, he's got 4 horses behind him. Curlin very comfortable, but he's a good 7 lengths off the leaders. Then it's Student Council, Ravens Pass, Tiago's back second last, and Champs-Élysées content to trail 15 off the leaders. Past the 7/8 they go, and Victor Espinoza has Casino Drive just at a steady pace here. He's not flying, he's in front of length. Fairbanks tracks in second. Go Between has taken a beautiful hold in third. Long Rain, Go Between looking nice in the third spot. Up alongside of him comes Duke of Marmalade. Just in behind those two is Smooth Air. Colonel John on the far side, only 4 lengths off these leaders. Then it's another 4 lengths further back to Henry the Navigator. Now here's Curlin in 8th. Curlin is giving them 8 lengths start. In behind that comes Ravens Pass and Student Council racing side by side. Tiago's a good 11 off the leaders, and Champs-Élysées is still last. Into the turn they go now, and Casino Drive along the inside, taken on now by Fairbanks on the outside. And now here comes Duke of Marmalade to tackle them, and Curlin, gold cap on the outside, and look at Curlin go. Is this believable? Curlin on the outside, Colonel John trying to go with him. Ravens Pass, but now it's Curlin made this huge run. Can he go on? Whip comes out on him. Ravens Pass down the center. Henry the Navigator's running on. Colonel John on the inside. Curlin now in deep order. He has to dig deep, but it's going to be Ravens Pass to take him on. Along the inside, Henry the Navigator's coming home gamely as well, but it's going to be Ravens Pass to win it. Ravens Pass and Frankie Dettori have won the Classic. It'll be Henry the Navigator second. Tiago ran on late to be in a photo with Curlin for that third spot.
Curlin gave the biggest punch he could throw, but Ravens Pass stood up to it and won the Breeders' Cup Classic. What an upset here at Santa Anita.
Ravens, look at Frankie Dettori. Look at him. I'm surprised he's not going to jump off right now. Very good tactical ride by Frankie, because consider this. Ravens Pass was considered just a miler over there, and a brilliant one at that. But his job, Frankie's job, was to try and rate him enough to where he could get that extra quarter of a mile. Very well done as he tracked Curlin. There you see Curlin, a very disappointed Robbie Alvarado in it, but gave him a beautiful ride. Tucked him in about 3 wide in the first turn, gradually made his way up, down the backside, big run on the turn, and just didn't quite have it in the middle of the stretch.
When we first discussed the fact that the Breeders' Cup this year was going to be run on synthetics, the original thing we talked about was that it was going to put this race on more of a level playing field for the Europeans. Turf form translates well to synthetic form. In the past, they've been at huge disadvantages here, no longer. And this does not diminish. This does not diminish from Curlin's stature one bit. This is a horse that had never set foot on synthetics before, not a horse all weekend, other than Ravens Pass, who come from grass, was able to win with no synthetic experience. He gave it everything he had. A great sporting gesture by Jess Jackson, but the Europeans 1-2. Too much.
This has reasserted the Breeders' Cup Classic on the global stage. Its significance now is huge.
Caden Bradars with Robbie Alvarado.
Well, Robbie, it looked big at the top of the stretch.
I had every opportunity. I put him in his driving spot ever, like we always have been. And tell you what, I congratulate the winners. They run on by him quick.
Take me back to the start, Robbie. Did you feel you had the same old Curlin?
Yes, I was always in the spot where he was always needed to be, I thought. And of the backside, I was content where I was. Had to go a little wider than I wanted to, but I mean, that's Curlin. That's just patent and run. He comes around horses. He made the lead within himself, turning for home. I called him, give me some running, just got run by late.
A lot of talk about the synthetic surface or the heat. Do you feel either of those factored in?
It's hard to say, you know. He ran hard. Never got beat on the dirt on him as a 4-year-old, so I don't know. Maybe it does have something to do with it.
Won most of them, but today the world won. Better luck, but a good trip and a good try, Robbie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. And the Breeders' Cup Classic champion has now arrived at our set, and congratulations to Frankie Dettori and Ravens Pass. Frankie, tell us about it. How'd you pull it off?
Great. I followed curling, and the further the race was going, the more relaxed and the more he came on the bridle. And when I pressed the button, I was hoping that he would get to the end, and he did. What a true great horse he is.
As a jockey, knowing this is a miler, and this is a mile and a quarter, what are you thinking? How long are you waiting?
Yeah, well, I was waiting. I was following every move of curling. I wanted to get there last, and he paid off.
Did you know you had curling at the top of the lane?
I wasn't so sure until I pressed the button, and then yes.
You pressed the button indeed, and Raven's Pass reacted beautifully. And Janine Edwards is standing by with Steve Asmussen, the trainer of curling.
That's right, Joe. I just spoke with trainer Steve Asmussen. Disappointment all over his face. I said, could you tell whether or not he was handling this synthetic surface? That was his biggest concern this week, was whether or not this horse was going to like the track. And his quote was, it was a turf race. It wasn't a dirt race. And he said, horses can train well over the synthetic surface. It doesn't mean they will run well over it. He said, when he came by the first time and I saw that he was off the bridle, I got worried. And I just want to add, Joe, Curlin just came back here to be unsaddled, and the crowd gave him a standing ovation.
As they should. He's one of the greats of this generation of the game, and he gave everything he could. He took a good run at it at the top of the stretch, Jerry.
And Robbie Alvarado, I mentioned earlier, tucked in early in the race, saved ground, tipped him out right here as they straighten up for home in the yellow silks, and he gave Curlin every chance. He runs by Colonel John right there in the white, and Duke of Marmalade right there. It looks like he's home free until you look right there at Frankie Dettori on the green silks and Ravens Pass. He's got his number. In Europe, grass racing, the horse that finishes fastest, lastest is the best, and that was certainly the case today.
You know what thought runs through my mind? I sure hope the Houston Texans go to the Super Bowl this year. What has Bob McNair got to be thinking, the owner of the Houston Texans? Just like Midshipman in the Juvenile, he bred Ravens Pass. He owned Ravens Pass through most of the year. Decided he wanted to spend more time on his NFL football team. Sold this horse to the Maktoum family and Princess Haya of Jordan, along with Darley, co-owners, and John Gosden.
There is Curlin, the champion who was unable, just like Cigar, was unable to come back the next year in the Breeders' Cup Classic and pull it off. And Janine is now with the winning trainer.
That's right, I'm here with Rachel and John Gosden. John, what a day for you. You win with Donativum, now you win with Ravens Pass, a horse that was a miler. What gave you the confidence to try him a mile and a quarter and on a different surface, no less?
Well, he's improved a lot through the year. He's got better and better into the fall of the year. Stronger, he's weighing more than he was ever before. He's trained beautifully, mentally more relaxed than ever. And I thought the distance wouldn't be a problem. His sire was a very good miler, but Charlie Whittingham trained Lord at War, the broodmare sire. He won the Santa Anita handicap here, mile and a quarter. There's some good old blood back there with a good route at mile and a quarter, and he did the job well.
And certainly this has to be like old home week for you after spending 11 years here apprenticing in California. Does it make it a little bit more meaningful to win two big races today here?
Well, it does. I love Santa Anita. It's our second home, really. We had a house in the Hollywood Hills, lived here 11 years. Sometimes I wonder why we went back to England, but we did. And it's a great race, and I won the big cap here in '83, which was really exciting. My first big win, mile and a quarter. It's a big race for America. It's before the Breeders' Cup. So it's great to come back here again and do it. And I have a very cheeky little Italian jockey now who's throwing goggles everywhere. He's happy.
He is cheeky indeed. And Joe, John summed it up best. This has been a day to cherish.
Oh, it sure has. A funny comment from John Gosden on Ravens Pass, and there is Curlin as he tried to put one more notch in the belt here at the Breeders' Cup Classic. But now you see why it is so tough to be a repeat champion. Jerry, you know this well. This happened to you on Cigar back in '96.
Well, as I stated, the miles catch up, the travel to Dubai and back, the big efforts, race after race, both years. You know what? It's not an easy thing to do. If it was, everybody'd be doing it.
And don't underestimate the surface. I mean, there's no way Tiago is going to outrun this horse on dirt. You know, Tiago finished third in this race. If this race were run on conventional dirt at Belmont Park, at Churchill Downs, Curlin probably wins this race and takes back-to-back place.
But instead, he finishes fourth here at Santa Anita, where the surface, that'll be the talk about, is that the surface that Curlin ran on here today, a synthetic track.
10 years since Swain that infamous moment in Frankie Dettori's career. He's put it all right this afternoon. This means so much to him.
And the first European Classic winner since Arkong back in 1993, Mr. Jerry Bailey.
And Frankie is not the regular rider of this horse, Ravens Pass. Jimmy Fortune has ridden this horse, won the QE2 on him in his most recent start, but got a suspension for standing up early before the wire in a race. Only was able to ride today, and he told John Gosden, I won't be fit enough, I won't be 100% on Saturday, so I'm going to relinquish the mount if you want Frankie to ride him.
And if that's true, and you can make your own mind up whether it is, then he's given up the ride on the Breeders' Cup Classic winner.
Look at this. He looks absolutely
the flying dismount of Frankie Dettori.
Ravens Pass looks nuggety standing there, doesn't he? Don't you think?
Oh, credit to Henry the Navigator, who we've not touched on much. Huge, huge run from him.
Let's look at the prices, and this is why I posed the question to Jessica earlier about where's the money heading, because it wasn't heading in certain directions that it should have been. Thus, you get these thick, juicy prices like this. Ravens Pass, $29. On top of Henry the Navigator, $22. Euros go 1-2 in both the Classic and the Turf. Tiago grabs the show money. Thus, you get a trifecta, a dollar trifecta for nearly $2,400. And oh, by the way, if you had the pick six and you didn't go Curlin's way and you had Ravens Pass, how about 55 grand for you on Breeders' Cup Day for a $2 investment?
And oh, by the way, does this make Zenyatta the horse of the year in America for 2008?
That is a good question that we should continue to talk about. Zenyatta, the super filly, as Frankie Dettori celebrates the Classic win. Bo Derek, Frankie Dettori celebrating with Bo Derek. And in typical style of Frankie Dettori, he's not bashful. He's kissing everything. Run for the exits. What a great atmosphere here at Santa Anita. And what a smile on the face of Frankie Dettori cashing in on the $5 million race. The full order of finish, and note the second win today for Princess Haya, John Gosden, and Frankie Dettori. And Tom Rinaldi has the winner's circle presentation.
Thanks very much, Joe. A classic indeed. And here to present the trophy, Frank Stronach, the leading breeder in Breeders' Cup history, and of course the chairman of Magna International, Kurt Russell, joining us, and the governor of California. Governor, please present the trophy.
John, I want to congratulate you very much for the great performance here with Ravens Pass. I mean, I thought that I had muscles, but I mean, this horse has real muscles, so it's really fantastic, and I hope that you come back next year at this great race and defend your title. I'll be having a commitment from you right now.
Wow, put on the spot right away by the governor. How about an answer to that?
Well, Governor, thank you very much. All I can say is I'd like to thank Breeders' Cup and everybody here at Santa Anita who've made this such a fabulous event.